Good morning, traders. This is Coach Alex. I think we are on the way to 50,000 today. We've been buying pullbacks, but more important, I want to address an idea, a concept that troubles people. We call it the intellectual and emotional capital. Yeah, guys, I'm recording this too. Look, it looks like we're going to 50,000 today. We're going to get good pullbacks, a couple hundred points. It's right past the 10:30 reversal time. But, I want to further just talk about the idea of intellectual and emotional capital. It's a subtle difference. Everyone, most newbies study the market, right? You read a book, you look at charts, you have indicators, you try to come up with a trading plan. So, what do? We invest our time into finding the holy grail of trading. And there's a buy signal too, by the way, right above the 20 SMA. We should be done for the morning. Most of you guys are done for the morning, right? Anyway, so we spend our time doing this, and also we're taught not to give up, right? So those two things are always at the forefront of our thinking and our experience in life. Your parents tell you don't give up, stick with it. If you fail a test, study algebra more, you'll pass it. We learn that from grammar school, high school, college, advanced degrees. So in training for becoming a day trader or a swing trader, we're told never to give up. That's okay if your opponent also has weaknesses. If you're playing football, that guy is going to block you, you're going to block him. The idea is to be better. So you do have an opponent. But we carry that into the market. The market becomes our opponent, and it's our support, our resistance that we're going to defend. So if you take a trade because you know it's going to go long per your analysis, well, you don't want to be proven wrong. And the way we define wrong is you buy and you sell lower and you get stopped out and you lose. It's even there, a stop loss. See all these negative things? So we're taught not to do that. Well, and that's why I was mentioning pilots are one of the worst traders, because you ask any pilot, what percentage of the time do you actually land at an airport? Hopefully it's 100%. The guy can go, well, once every 6 months I might dip it into the Hudson River. Even Sully only did it once. So he's got a 99.99999% success rate, which, you got to figure it wasn't his fault. He said it's the bird's fault. That's the right way of looking at it, right? And in trading, though, we don't want to take a loss. So how do you defend that? How do you become better at it? I had to struggle with this same type of thing for 49 months in a row. I went to psychiatrists, which I call them, and they were more like coaches because they were built around performance. These people, when, you didn't tell them, I feel like killing everybody. That's a different psychiatrist. These guys specialized in sports enhancement, personal improvement, that kind of thing. And that's a good idea. What's stopping you from becoming successful? Well, in trading, instead of humans, we substitute the market. So we say we got to defend the market. So if we think the market's going up and the market goes down, we've got to prove the market's wrong. We got to beat them. Instead of putting a personality as your friend, make Mr. Market your coach. You're going to follow Mr. Market. See, when you're beating the other person on the football team, you have a coach, hopefully, behind you who supports you. That's the idea of coaching. Well, I ask clients, I have a pretty good track record, running near or over 90%. But I'm not here to, you know, do the Super Bowl shuffle. What I'm trying to do is act as your supporter, as your coach. So a lot of times, if I say, I think the market's going up, I'm going to buy it, then a lot of traders want to find a way to not listen, to find their own path. And they say, well, maybe I'll short it. Well, why? Because you're looking to beat the coach. Well, how about looking at it the other way? Instead of putting your ego against mine, I mean, there's no problem if somebody's losing $500 a day, 99% of them listen to me because they tell me they're losing money. You know who I have a problem with? The guy who's making $100, $200 a day, $400 a day, because then they've managed to eke out a small living, a small income. So they don't want to give that up. They feel pretty proud. They're still in the 10% group. So who's this stupid coach telling you what to do? Well, instead of making it my ego against yours, how about this? How about pretending I am an AI programmed market analyst? You decided to program indicators. When your moving average or Fibonacci or stochastics gives you a buy signal, do you get angry at it? You say, oh, how does that thing? No, you say, there's my signal. Well, include me in that signal. Think of me as nothing more than an AI robot that you've programmed. When you pay me a monthly fee to come up with ideas, it's the same thing as paying for some kind of mathematical system. And if you could do that, well, then you can come on board and do very well without having an ego clash. So how do we define losses then? Well, then if you're doing it the proper way, you can make what? Mr. Market's fault. You could say, look, I got all these signals here, right? They're all coming down, a nice retracement, right? How many points? From 903, almost 200, today's 211, almost got there, and then it gave a buy signal. And if it failed, we say, well, Mr. Market gave a signal, and then the signal was too early. And I'm going to take a power exit point instead of a stop loss. Redefine the terms that you're giving to trading. And that's when you can clear out the emotional baggage and start focusing on these proven setups, the setups that we teach, the tardy trader trap, the first touch rule, the M, the W, the breakout trades, when you are consistent. And this morning, if you recall, guys, this morning I said, the daily trend was down, but the short-term trend was extremely bullish. There was a conflict. When we came into work, take a look, right? What we saw was this. Look at that. This is what we saw going up. Look at the momentum has been bullish. So what do? You got to buy pullbacks. But the daily trend was down. So there was a conflict. And the best way to handle that, wait for the open. Let's see what the market does. And if it continues on the up path, go long and use your normal risk parameters for it. And that's what saved us. We missed the first thrust, but then we started getting the pullbacks. So yeah, you gave up a few points. Big deal. All right. Any questions? Great. Since there are no questions, we'll leave it at that. Listen, the best way to find out if this makes sense, take a trial. Listen to the calls. Confirm with yourself that we actually do make money, unlike 95% of the other so-called trading coaches out there who've never worked on Wall Street. We have. Okay? Please give yourself a shot at the same kind of profits that we take in almost every day. Just put your ego aside. If you are making a couple of $100 a day, we'll make you better. Go for at least 50% improvement. Now, if you're making $50 a day, I'm probably going to be able to add $25 a day to it. It's not worth it. But if you're making over $200 or $300 a day already, then you might not need the course. You might just need one or two trades that we call. And if we can make you 50% more, so let's say you're making $300 a day. You're telling me with our good signals, you couldn't make an extra $150? Well, $150 a day times 20 days of trading pays for your monthly membership. Have a great weekend. Let's watch some Super Bowl.